Hello, this is David Goodman. I'm a real estate investor, a real estate agent, and a property manager in Nashville, Tennessee. And today we're going to be doing a video on house hacking, why to do it, and how to do it in the Nashville market. So what is house hacking? If you're seeing this video, you probably know what house hacking is. But for those of you who don't know, a house hack is finding a home that you personally live in that you are able to generate extra income by renting out space within that home, whether it be a bedroom or a basement apartment or an apartment on the upstairs. It's just finding some way to make money from the home that you live in. So house hacking is actually how I got my whole start into real estate. At the time, I didn't really know what house hacking was. All I knew is that I wanted to rent some space from my primary residence to help supplement my mortgage. When I was looking around for that perfect spot, I found a lot of challenges with it, but over time, I was able to come up with ways to find the right home that I could purchase as like a normal person, and to find strategies for building off of that first home and purchasing the next one, and then the next one, and using the first house to pay for the next house, and just slowly learned how to actually build a portfolio through the really powerful strategy of house hacking. So why is house hacking such an effective strategy? What I find with clients that I work with, especially new investors, buying a home in Nashville is a really challenging task, because we want cash flow and we want all the numbers to make sense. And we know that in Nashville, we are an appreciating market. The sexy thing about investing in our market is that homes appreciate at a really, really fast rate, which often means that rents are going to have a hard time catching up and keeping up with the price of homes. So buying a home 20% down and expecting cash flow is a kind of a difficult thing. On the other end of that, someone that lives here in Nashville who needs to live here and would like to build a portfolio, it's often the best way to build your portfolio, because you have to live somewhere, right? And the current rules on buying a primary residence are that you can live in a primary residence for about a year or two, depending on what kind of loan you get, and then move out of that home and keep it as an investment property, and allowing you to buy another home if you are able to. So this is why I think it's such an effective strategy in Nashville, because it allows you to buy the home, get it at the price that it is, whether it's, and the price that it's going to be is going to be the highest price that it's ever been, is because we're in an appreciating market. The first home I ever bought was a 2,800 square foot ranch in South Nashville, and it was $164,000. And my neighbors thought I was absolutely crazy for buying that house. I didn't do much with it. I lived in it. I rented out the basement. And a few years later, the house was worth double. And it allowed me to move on to the next phase, find another home. And within that time frame, I refinanced that house. I took cash out and bought another house. Rents slowly caught up to what I originally purchased the home. So I purchased the home for $164. My mortgage was like $1,200, and though at the time that I purchased the house, rents were not $1,200 or $1,500 or even $2,000. Within a year or two, rents slowly caught up to that, and it then made sense for me to move out and rent out the house as a rental property. So now that we've established why house hacking is an effective strategy, let's talk about how to actually find a home in Nashville that is suitable for house hacking. Most of my clients, when they're getting into wanting to buy a home that they're able to rent out, the one kind of home that they're looking for is a multifamily home, because obviously it makes sense because there's already 2 or 3 designated spaces that other people can live in. If you're cool with just renting out a room, that's basically any home, and that's great. If you were like myself and my wife my wife is still with me. My wife, she didn't want to have a roommate, so we needed separate space. So obviously the place you want to first look is family homes. The challenge with multifamily homes in Nashville is that it is a very competitive market. This is the challenge that I found back in 2014 and have seen basically through COVID. There are tons of people just like me who want to buy a home that they can also rent out. Obviously the prices of homes are appreciating every single year, and it's becoming more and more common knowledge that I can buy a home and then rent out that space. That's becoming more and more of a prevalent thing. And because of that, primary home buyers are willing to pay more for a duplex or a triplex that they're going to live in than, say, an investor who is just looking for cash flow. So they're willing to pay above what that home should be worth based on the income that it can bring in. So duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, these homes in Davidson County at least tend to be more expensive per square foot than a single family home. Now this has been the case for the last, to me, I guess the last 6 or 7 years. I would say right now, however, this may be changing. I mean, it's September 2022 at the moment, and interest rates, we're in a very high interest rate market, and I don't think anybody knows exactly what's going to happen and what's going on. But what I've noticed is right now, multifamily homes are staying on the market a little bit longer than they were. Multifamily homes could be a good strategy at the moment. If you're in the Nashville market and you're at this time frame. But generally speaking, my experience has been that looking for a multifamily home, I'm going to end up spending more money, and there's going to be more competition, and I'm not going to get as much I'm not going to get as much home as I could if I was looking in a different area, like single family. So this is how I go about looking for homes that are single family. If you're in Nashville, you can go to dlgoodmanproperties.com. If you're not in Nashville, just go to Zillow. I'll start with house hacking listings in Nashville through the website. And basically what we're looking for are finished, unfinished basements, apartments, and the types of homes that I really think you should consider, how I built my portfolio, are 1960s ranches. Sometime in the 1960s, I guess home builders were building ranches, and Nashville is a hilly terrain, and what you'll find is these homes look like one-story homes, but in the back you'll see this beautiful basement that is typically unfinished. Look at that paneling. I think that's the basement there. So these typically have been unfinished or like barely finished. It's becoming more and more common to actually to put in a bathroom, put in a bedroom. So it's a little bit harder to find something that someone hasn't already added that bedroom. But if you can find an unfinished basement and you're willing to do the work, this is a really good way to actually add value to a home, is finding a basement that's not been done that you can actually, get a extra bedroom and a bath. So 1960s ranches, that is the secret sauce to finding house hackable homes in Nashville. I would stick with 1960s personally. They typically have really, really good hardwood floors under them. The electrical is not horrible. Plumbing is something that you have to kind of deal with as it comes. I definitely wouldn't buy a 1960s house and just rip out all the plumbing, because it just wouldn't make any sense. But it is a maintenance item that you will have to deal with as it becomes a problem. But these are the homes that work great. It's how I found my start. The first home I bought, I'll show you. First home I bought was in South Nashville. And I think it's a great example. It's obviously what I know. There's a big hill. It looks like a one-story. It's really ugly. Parquet floors. And all we did was basically paint this paneling, put down tile, and finish this basement. Turn this into a living space. This one was really nice because it came with a studio apartment, and that's what I used to rent out for $600 or $700 to a friend. And that was great because I was able to basically rent out, pay for half my mortgage. This home actually, I kind of built from here into recovery home and sober living, but that's where it really started. And I got into other strategies like renting by the room and renting to folks that are in recovery. And this is where we ended up selling it. I don't have photos inside, but we ended up selling it for $300,000 more, and all we did was live in it. All we did was own it for a period of time while other people paid the mortgage, And with that first purchase, I was able to pull money out and buy other investment properties while keeping my mortgage basically the same. And this is, the blessing of living in a market like Nashville. And I think if you're looking at Nashville as an investment area, I think there's a lot of great reasons why we are geared to keep seeing this kind of appreciation. There's no guarantees, but I think smarter people than myself would say that we are on the road to seeing this appreciation for, I think, years to come. If you're not in the Nashville market and you're on Zillow, these are some easy ways to find homes that you can rent out. Obviously, multifamily is great. Some markets, it would be easier to buy a multifamily home. If I am buying a multifamily home, I just want to make sure that it's in a neighborhood that is primarily single family, or it's like there's a good spread of homes that are single family. Because if you do end up doing a cash out refinance or refinance at some point, appraisers look at income producing homes differently than they do single family homes, and they will base the price of your home or what your home is worth. It'll be based on the kind of income that it is bringing in. And if you're in a market like Nashville, the rental income is not going to measure up to what that home would be worth just as a single family home. So if you're, I think that's why it makes sense to me to look at single family homes if you are looking to refinance, because then you're just looking, when you are doing a refinance, they are taking into account what that home is worth as a primary residence, which is typically going to be worth more to an appraiser than a multifamily home. If you're in a low inventory market, you may want to keep this unfinished part, or if you're looking for a way of adding value to a home, you can keep this unfinished part unfinished. But if you're looking for more of a turnkey opportunity to have space that you can rent out right away, I would just keep it at finished. As I said, it's September 2022, and our inventory has doubled since February. It's still much lower than it has been in the last 2 years if you look year over year. But if you've tried finding a home in the last year, it feels it feels a lot better at the moment than it has. I hope you found this information helpful. We're going to be doing a few more of these to come. It is very awkward for me, but we're going to push through and hopefully bring you content that is useful in your journey to build a portfolio in the Nashville market. If you are in Nashville and are looking for a real estate agent or a property manager, or just someone who's kind of been on this journey to talk to, you can email me at david@dlgoodmanproperties.com, or you can go to the website www.dlgoodmanproperties.com. You can find my information, you can find some helpful searches, and yeah, just let me know if you need anything. Thanks for watching. Let's connect soon.